Wanderers, Season 9 is here, and it looks like Pulverize is going to be on the menu for Druids this season. Pulverize is the build that I have leveled with every single season on the Druid, and I absolutely love it. Now, this is just going to be a leveling build. This is going to get you from level 1 to level 60 as fast as humanly possible, and then you can go out there and find a great endgame build as it evolves. How this planner is going to be broken down. There's going to be several different sections. We're going to be starting with your 1 to 25. Your level 26 to 40, and then your 41 to 60. It's going to have evolving skill trees as you go through. As you look at the skill trees here, we only have 38 points spent. Then when we move on, we have your 53 points spent, and then your full tree. Now, there will be no Paragon board. Like I said, you're going to make sure that you get to level 60, find the Paragon board that's going to fit best for your build and where your character is at right now. So we're going to start with your skill tree, and we're going to break down all of the skills. We're going to start with the very end here, so you'll get to see a list of everything that's going to be out there. If you click this little button right here, this is going to maximize. Then you go right up to your leveling path here. This is going to be a great option for you because you don't have to pause the video. Make sure you check the link of the description of this video so that you can get all of the planners. You can zoom in and you can zoom out. It makes it really, really easy for you. On the side here, this is going to be your leveling path. This is how I put the skills in as I leveled. If you just follow along this here and put all of the skills in, you're going to miss out on some of the better skills that you would have gotten earlier if you had saved the points, like let's say maxing out Pulverize here. To start off, we're going to be taking Claw all the way down through your Fierce Claw. We're going to be needing to swap a little bit later on in the leveling process. So this is going to turn you into a werewolf, and then we're going to swap into your bear form. So it's a very, very fun ability to use and a very fun way to play. Wild Heart into Wild Impulses. This is going to make it cost a little bit more to use your Pulverize, but we're going to do a little bit more damage. Of course, we're going to be maxing out Pulverize here, coming all the way down through Raging Pulverize. Iron Fur here, this is going to give us some damage reduction while you're in Werebear form. It also lasts for 3 seconds after you leave Werebear form, which is really, really cool option here. This is going to give you some Predatory Instincts, is going to give you some critical strikes against close enemy. Bulwark, this is going to be a source of Unstoppable. It's also going to give you some Fortify and some Barrier. We're going to be looking at Backlash. You deal 12% increased damage after you cast a defensive skill. Your defensive skill is going to be your Earthen Bulwark. Feral Aptitude. You're going to deal increased damage while healthy, which is going to be above 80% life, and then a 9% increase well above 100% movement speed. Both of those can stack. Poison Creeper is going to be a companion for you. It's going to circle around you. It's going to deal poison damage to an enemy. You're also going to have 20% increased critical strike chance against enemies that are affected by Poison Creeper. Coming down, we're going to be going into Crushing Earth. Your Earth skills are going to deal 15% increased damage to slowed, stunned, or immobilized enemies. Now, we're going to be able to convert our Pulverize into an Earth skill later on, so we'll get to that when we get to the aspects section of this. Safeguard, you're going to put just 1 point in here, so this way, this gives us an additional source of Fortify. Stone Guard, well, you have Fortify over 50% of your maximum life. You're going to deal additional damage. 1 point in a Neurotoxin to unlock Envenom. You and your companions are going to deal 30% increased critical strike damage bonus against poison enemies. That's going to come from Poison Creeper. We're going to be taking Mending here. While in Werebear form, you receive additional healing from all sources, and you're going to gain maximum life. Provocation. When you remain in Werebear form for at least 12 seconds, you're going to get your non-defensive skills to overpower. Trample, this is going to be a source of movement speed. It's also going to be a source of Unstoppable. As you trample, you're going to gain that Unstoppable. You're also going to get 40 spirit every time that you do it, so it's a great source of your spirit generation. Petrify is going to be the ultimate skill that we're going to be taking here. This is going to give you basically max spirit every single time that you use it. Then it's also going to stun nearby enemies, and you're going to gain increased damage to those enemies, as well as reset some of the cooldowns of your Petrify as you kill enemies that are affected by Petrify. Next, we're going to be looking at Natural Disaster. Your Earth skills are going to deal increased damage to vulnerable enemies. Catastrophe here, you're going to get increased damage after you cast an ultimate skill. Quick Shift, this is where shifting back and forth is going to give you that extra damage. As we use our Claw and then we use our Pulverize, we're going to swap back and forth between Werebear and Werewolf. This is going to give us some increased damage here. Heightened Senses. When a shape-shifting, Werebear is going to grant you damage reduction, Werewolf will grant you movement speed. Both of those can stack and can remain as long as you keep swapping back and forth between the two. If you're in human form for more than 3 seconds, you're going to lose both Heightened Senses and Quick Shift. For your ultimate, we're going to be taking Ursine Strength, gain 30% maximum life, 20% more damage, and a 100% increase damage to overpower bonus while you're in werebear form and for 5 seconds after leaving it. So that's your skill tree. Let's take a look at the aspects and how this is going to be broken down. You're going to come back over to your assigned skills here. It's going to be broken down by different aspects per your leveling group. Now we're going to look at the 26 to 40 because this is going to remain the same from your first group to your second group. Now, if you do happen to find aspects here, you can definitely throw it onto your ring. All of these aspects, like I said, are going to be found in dungeons. Here is where all of the aspects and the dungeons are. How are you going to find that? And a really, really great tip and a really easy way to do that. While you're in game, you're going to open up your Codex of Power. Now, you're going to be able to search here. You can type in for whichever one that you wanted to find. And then you're going to find those dungeons. And when you find the dungeon that you want in your Codex of Power, it's going to tell you exactly where the dungeon is. So if you look right here, this says Derelict Lodge. It says pin on map right here. When you click on that, it's going to open up your map, and then you can pin automatically for you the dungeon and where to go. You don't have to go through Google. You don't have to look at every single dungeon and see which one you need. It's going to tell you exactly where to go and how to do it. It's an incredibly great way to make sure that you can get all of the aspects that you need in the very beginning of the game. As you look through the bottom here, it's going to have all of the dropped aspects on the very bottom. Those are going to be the important ones that if you do happen to get lucky enough for those to drop, make sure you hold on to those because those are the ones you want to imprint early. Most important one that you want to get is going to be your Ursine Heart. This is going to turn Pulverize into an Earth skill. That's going to be incredibly important. So we're going to break down all of the aspects for you, and then we'll talk about all of the stuff that you're going to need in order to get your build up and running when you get into your level 41 to 60 range. Now, Ballistic here, this is going to give your Earth skills additional ranks when you have Fortify. Now, we just talked about having our Pulverize become an Earth skill. We're going to gain additional ranks of Pulverize through this aspect here. Ursine Heart, we just talked about this one. This is the very important. Go straight to the Belfry. This is going to convert your Pulverize into an Earth skill. Aspect of Retaliation. Your core skills are going to deal additional damage based on the amount of Fortify that we have. We showed a couple different ways that we're going to get Fortify. Aspect of Mending Stone. The duration of your Earthen Bulwark is going to be increased. That's going to give you some Fortify, some Barrier, and some Unstoppable. In addition, killing an enemy with a skill replenishes that amount of your active barrier from your Earthen Bulwark. Ghostwalker is going to give you additional movement speed when you are unstoppable. Crashstone aspect here, your Earth skills here are going to deal additional damage to your crowd control enemies. That means your Pulverize will when you combine it and convert it into an Earth skill. Intercom, even though we're going to be moving around, you still get the base increase to your damage here. If you stand still, that gets tripled. Mangled aspect, in werebear form, you're going to gain additional spirit generation. Aspect of Umbral, restore primary resources when you crowd control an enemy. So that's going to be your basic, your level 1 to 25, and then your level 26 to 40. They don't change there. When we get into our level 41 to 60, that's when we're going to see a little bit of variant here. Ballistic, Might, Retaliation, Mending Stone, Ghostwalker, and Crash Stone are all going to stay the same. We're going to be only looking for, really, your Shockwave aspect. So as you can see, there's not much variation going from your early stages of leveling to your endgame stages. If you find Shockwave earlier, you basically have the setup already. It's going to be a really, really great way to transition because this build will carry you all the way to level 60 and find that endgame build. And it does require very little drops. You can go and do every single one of the dungeons and have your build up and running. For your spirit boons here, for the deer, we're going to be running Advantageous Beast. This is going to give you some movement speed. Incredibly important early on, especially for the druids. You're going to get 20% maximum life from your eagle, as well as your Avian Wrath. Now, with this ability here, if you already completed the class quest for the druid, it's automatically going to unlock. Now, I made the mistake of not really looking at the interface. You actually have to click on this to make sure that that is your bonded spirit. That will allow you to have one additional choice for whatever that buff that you want to get from your spirits are. So make sure that you come here and you click on the one that you want. You don't actually have to go complete the stronghold. You don't have to collect anything. It will unlock for you automatically if you've completed it in a previous season. So then for the wolf here, we're going to be running Energize. That's going to give you 15% chance to restore spirit. And then we're going to be running Obsidian Slam. Every 10th kill will cause your next Earth skill to overpower, and that's going to be Pulverize. So that's going to be your Spirit boons. For your runes, we're going to be running Yax Lum. Every time that we use a healing potion, we're going to get back some of our primary resources. And then Kur, Ke, every 5 skills that we cast, we're going to gain 300 offerings. That's going to spawn some wolves for us. Those wolves are going to give us vulnerable damage. They're also going to give us stun and freeze. They're very, very strong in the early stages of leveling. Now, for your leveling with your Herodic spells, we're going to be running Disintegrate. This is going to basically do a whole bunch of damage to some enemies when it gets put down. This is going to do some fire damage. It's also going to leave burning damage on the ground. So you can kind of activate this, and then monsters that walk through it will just basically die as they walk around. Tranquil Stone here, this is going to grant some Unstoppable, which is very needed during any stage of the game. Shifting Powder, this is going to give you movement speed whenever you activate your Catalyst. Your Catalyst is going to be Disintegrate. Whenever you use Pulverize, every 5.3 seconds it's going to activate. And then we're also going to be running Invigorating Helix. This is going to fortify you, which, as you saw, there's a lot of aspects to this build that you need Fortify. This is going to give you Fortify once per enemy every 5 seconds. Damage from your Catalyst will fortify you, and it's going to heal you for 10%. So this is incredibly important. For the gems, for the jewels, it doesn't really matter too much which ones you put in as you level. Whatever you can have, that's what you're going to do for your leveling process. On the bottom here, we have a gameplay loop, so you can make sure you read through that so you know exactly which way to go with your gameplay loop. And then for your mercenaries here, we're going to be running right here. You do need Fortify, and all sources that you can get Fortify from are important. If you have enough Fortify generation, you can run Subo for the map hack or Variana for the movement speed, whichever one you decide to do. Shield Charge through right here is guard. This is some additional armor, provoke, and then some additional damage whenever an enemy is taunted. And then Variana, we're going to be running Bloodlust with Claw. That's going to be activating your attack speed. That's all I got for the Pulverized Druid. Hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, make sure you share it with your friends. Thank you everybody for watching. I'm live every night. I'd love it if you stopped by, said hi, theory crafted with me. Catch you on the clip side.